How effective is the current iGaming regulation in Germany, in your view?
Germany came from a really restrictive regulation and now open up the market since 2021, and it's not so restrictive anymore, but it puts a lot of burden on the operator side. So you have to stick to certain limits, you have to stick to certain regulations when it comes to spin time and duration, which often feels a bit restrictive for the player. However, it is open market now with a huge potential. So it's restrictive, but it's good for operators who want to enter the German market.
Can you introduce yourself and Taylor Wessing?
My name is Fabian. I'm an IT and gambling lawyer for many years now in the industry. We're focusing on licensing applications and all compliance regulation on the German market. Taylor Wessing itself is a full-service law firm based all over Europe with a strong iGaming and data protection and IT focus.
What would you call out as one of your most significant success stories to date?
When it comes to success stories, it's not like one story itself. It's helping a client to get regulated, to stabilize in a licensing environment, and then navigating the client through the regulatory landscape, especially when it comes to Germany, which is quite restrictive area.
Why is Germany a significant market from an iGaming point of view?
Germany is the biggest market in Europe when it comes to player base, and it's licensing open up since 2021 for slots, sports, and now on a state-by-state level for casino games.
To give a bit of a context, can you give a brief history of how German gambling regulation has changed over the years?
So Germany came from a state monopoly, meaning there was no option for licensing since 2021. With the introduction of the Interstate Treaty on gambling, you can apply now for a sports betting license, for a slots license on a federal level, and on a state-by-state level for casino games.
And what do you see as the strengths and weaknesses of the current gambling regulation in Germany?
So Germany has a huge potential. It's now open for licensing for sports and slots, for example. However, there's still the channelization question, meaning it's still potential for channelization. We will see a development when it comes to the law itself, meaning it will be more attractive for operators in the future. That's why there's a huge potential for operators.
To the previous question, from a player point of view, how would you describe the current German market?
I think from a player's perspective, it's still the impression of players that it's quite restrictive. You have like a certain €1,000 limit per month, but you can apply for increase. The spin time is limited on 5 seconds, so there will be in the future developments in the law that is more attractive for the player. That's why it's a huge upside for the German market.
Gambling can mean a lot of things. How would you personally define gambling, and how does the current German law define it?
Gambling needs to be differentiated from a game of skills, for example. Gambling is defined in Germany as a game when you have like a stake, an element of chance, and a potential win. That's why you have to look in your business model. For example, what has come up in the last couple of months is, for example, when it comes to loot boxes, which are now sometimes assessed as gambling. In general, the definition is quite broad in Europe. It's quite similar, but you have to assess your business model on a case-by-case basis.
For the viewers, can you explain what social casino is and how German gambling law applies to it?
So the definition of gambling is stake, chance, and win. When you take out, for example, the stakes, meaning a social casino, you play without real money or you play without redeemable coins, for example, this could remove the element of chance or win or stake, meaning that it's not deemed as gambling. So that's why a lot of social casino or even game of skill popping up in Germany, giving the player the option to play without setting money or without the option for a win. That leads to that you don't fall under the gambling regime. However, this has to be assessed on a case-by-case basis.
For the viewers, can you explain what sweepstakes are and how German gambling law applies to them?
So sweepstake is something that came over from the US, that you have like kind of an exception when you can compete without stakes, without real money. This is coming to Germany now, but we don't talk about this meaning of sweepstakes. We would refer to this as a social casino. Based on the setting, it can happen that if you don't have stakes, for example, that you fall outside of the gambling regime. However, this has to be assessed on a case-by-case basis.
What's the current German legal view on skin trading and loot boxes in popular esport games like Counter-Strike?
So this is now on the radar of the gambling regulator. They access the loot boxes features, and the crucial part is, for example, whether there's like a third-party market. So this could lead a skin or a loot box deemed as gambling under German gambling law. But you can move it, for example, if you remove the element of chance, for example, or if you don't accept stakes or money for these loot boxes, for example.
What are your typical clients, and what are the common challenges that lead them to reach out to you?
So our clients typically range from operators, payment service providers, or game of skill operators, and the current challenges are navigating through the quite restrictive gambling regulation in Germany or all over Europe. What is quite common for us that we access the applicability of the gambling regulation under German law, and then we do a lot of rollouts assessing all over Europe whether gambling regulation apply or if the model has to adapt it for certain European countries.
Without asking you to make any predictions, what do you see as likely changes in the near future in the German gambling legislation?
I think the channelization will come into focus in Germany, meaning the regulator will review the current legislation, and there will be some changes. Maybe when it comes to the spin duration, maybe when it comes to the limits, but the market will become more attractive, which is why I encourage you to look at the German market, which is still a huge potential for operators.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Of course, thank you.